Are having a nice day to talk about what's with this XRP community and CoinMarketCap XP's ads around 37 cents, guys. Just being, all these coins are just literally being stable coins at this point in time, guys. There needs to be possibly a catalyst for volatility, like the Federal Reserve meeting. So let's pay attention, or the FOMC meeting, guys. And if I'm not mistaken, Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, talks tomorrow as well, for a different meeting of some sorts, guys. But let's just pay attention. But actually, before we jump into this video, advisor just assume value only. Now, so when we talk about, guys, on this channel, we talk about XRP, correct? And the timeline of XRP and when XRP will moon and whatnot. But today we have more of a unique video because we want to look ahead of what's going to happen in the future years, such as 2030, 2040, and 2050, guys, right? The timeline, the overall timeline of when possibly the world comes to an end. Check this out. Ant-Man equals 63, right? Which equals 93. End of days from David Schwartz. Just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. Interesting. Right. What is the movie about, guys? I don't know. But today's video it's going to be a little bit unique, guys, because we're going to talk about when XRP collapses, what happens after, because we know we will get rich and wealthy at one point in time, but what's going to happen after, guys, right? The end of the world, so it seems like. So let's talk about it. And now, guys, there's a fun part of XRP and the XRP community. Now, this is quite interesting. So, how do we know that Mr. Poole talks about XRP at some point in time? Week 44. 44 is what, guys? XRP, right? 440. You remove the zero at all times. It's 44. So we do know Mr. Poole talks about XRP sometimes, right? If not all. But we do know there's one more thing, guys, with Mr. Poole posts. It's all double meanings. He did state that one time. Never forget. But what could this be, right? If it's a double meaning. Let's talk about it. But before we do, how do we know? There's a difference when he talks about the world coming to an end and XRP mooning, right? This right here, this post right here is about what, guys? Is about XRP mooning, right? Look at this, because multiple digital assets to be integrated into the future financial systems, right? So there you guys go. Financial reset overnight. So this post right here is definitely about XRP and the collapse and the new system that's inbound, right? But then, on the other hand, he posted this a long time ago, guys. Everyone deep in their hearts is waiting for the end of the world to come. So we know there's two things here, right? He talks about XRP and the events that surrounds XRP. And number two, he literally talks about, for some odd reason and strange reason, guys, that what? The end of the world is to come, right? Isn't this fascinating? When you look at the number 1012, you remove the zero, it's 112, which is an emergency code for the EU, guys, right over there. So, isn't this fascinating? When we talk about the end of the world, let's literally talk about it, guys, because it seems like they have planned it out a long time ago, right? The prophecy is supposed to be fulfilled soon. That's true. In this Economist magazine cover from 11/22/2019, we have War Russia in small print in the bottom right corner, right? So they always tell you beforehand, guys, as you guys can see Russia right there. War and then Russia, right? They always tell you before something takes place. So what does that tell us? Here we go. Let's talk about it. From the beginning to end. Quotes, you're going to have WW3. You're going to have WW3 if something doesn't happen soon, end quote. President Donald J. Trump. He literally stated that, guys, right? So a lot of people are talking about WW3 is here very shortly, right? Perhaps not, and we'll talk about it. But we do know that we will have WW3 because they love to say it before it takes place, right? So let's talk about it. Check this out.
We left in disgrace. It was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, in my opinion, and it probably is what caused Putin to say, wow, Trump is gone. This is a great time to take over Ukraine, right? It's probably a reason that happened. But I stand here today, and I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily. And you're going to have World War III, by the way. You're going to have World War III. If something doesn't happen fast, you're going to have World War III.
You're gonna have World War III. You're gonna have World War III, and you're gonna have World War III if something doesn't happen soon, right? But he literally stated it right there, guys. You're going to have WW3 occur, right? We're not making any of this stuff up, and it's fascinating because remember who else posted that? This guy's right here, right? Shelter the Three Mountains from BG123. So it begins, right? I'm a Korean American living in Korea currently. And this is a sign for shelter in case of any attacks from North Korea. Does it look familiar? Isn't this crazy, guys? Right? Does it look familiar? Of course it does. From where? BG123, so it begins. Right? Are they perhaps telling us to what? Again, double meanings attached, right? Obviously it connects with XRP, but in a more deeper sense, maybe what happens after XRP moons, guys, right? Now you're rich and wealthy, but what happens? In this channel, we like to talk about we like to expose the timeline, guys, of the world, so to speak, right? Not only XRP. So we definitely have a unique channel over here, guys. So the game plan seems quite clear. That we do know WW3 will occur at one point in time, right? And are these riddlers telling us to prepare? Because look at this right here, this shelter sign, right? To take shelter when it does happen. The reason we know WW3 will occur is because of this right here. Albert Pike letter to Mazzani. The Illuminati plan for 3 world wars, August 15th, 1871. Basically, the following is a letter that speculation claimed that Albert Pike wrote to Mazzani in 1871 regarding a conspiracy involving 3 world wars. They were planned in an attempt to take over the world, right? If you go down here, Albert Pike was a 33rd degree Freemason, guys. And that's how you guys know it's actually going to happen. But remember, when Donald Trump states you're going to have WW3, how will it occur? Will it occur with Russia versus Ukraine? No, guys. As we see right here, this is how. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionist, that right there, and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and the political Z, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. There you guys go, right? So it's going to be occurring at the East, guys. As you guys can see, it's going to be in the Middle East. I'm sure of it. They tell you before it takes place. Isn't that crazy? So that's just mind-boggling, guys, because that seems at that point. It seems like everything's pre-planned ahead of time. New World War, right? Or WW3. This card. Any nation making a direct attack to destroy against another nation has triple power. If it succeeds, the attacking nation gets a plot card and another action token immediately. If it fails, the attacker is destroyed and counts toward victory conditions of the defeating player. Interesting. So this card replaces any yellow NWO card in play. Now, someone pointed out the war might start in the Middle East, but it's scripted to see the U.S. allies versus China and Russia versus NATO. Now, somebody stated, I heard this from somewhere, guys, that WW3 will occur in the year of 2036, right? But before I heard that, we talked on this channel about what, guys? About the timeline is clear. XRP moons by 2025 or so, right? The system collapses at that same time frame. The new system goes live, right? What happens after? UBI comes into play. Not to mention, there's peace at that time, at that time frame, guys. There's now peace, right? Because we just went through hell. There needs to be peace, right? Rainbows and sunshine, because now people are in the new system. What happens after, guys? What I believed was WW3 finally starts, right? When? I was thinking early 2030, but it could happen later on by 2036 or so. What happens after, guys? It seems like that's when this happens right here, right? The end of the world to come. It sure seems like that, guys. Now, this isn't to fearmonger, but it's just to prepare you guys of what's upcoming, right? It's because they tell you in plain sight, quote unquote, watch the water. Why the repeated emphasis on water? Wow, a new beast is rising from the sea. Beast and the beast system, right? So we already have the beast system inbound, which is when 2025 about ish, right? We got you guys already know the implants, all that other stuff with XRP, blockchain technology, right? Then what about they're missing something, guys, right? This right here, the beast itself. When will that happen? Again, after, right? The ripple effect. Wow. This is so crazy, guys, because they tell you it's all about what? Water, right? The end of the world ties in with what? The water. Where the reference comes, where the watch the water reference comes from. Not only that, there's a reason why Ripple is literally named Ripple. Why? Interesting. Is that some type of subliminal programming, guys, for us, the people, right? Talking about the end of the world. That's so weird because Mr. Poole literally talked about it, guys, right? He stated it. Could it be a metaphor? Likely, but at the same time, a double meaning, right? Usually, it's literally, guys. That's so weird. The reason it is because of this right here. As the lights go out and the world falls asleep, you'll gaze towards the night sky, and at a glance, you'll see a newer beginning. The sun shining through, the old world will fade and promptly disappear as new powers emerge and become visible to all. Right? And it talks about pyramids implode. Could that be literal once again? Interesting, right? The world will finish transitioning soon, and when we come out, you'll see it all. Again, this is so weird. To me, this doesn't seem like it ties in with the collapse, folks. Right? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Is he talking about what? The collapse, which ties in with XRP in this post right here, specifically this post. When we talked about it in 44 is what? XRP, right? Which we talked about in the beginning of the video. But again, possibly this literally means what? Everything he's stating right here, right? And it's weird because, and yet not many, only a few will stay here to do so, right? So when the world starts to finish transitioning, right, from the old to the new, which means the collapse would have, not the collapse, it's probably some type of war, as we just talked about, WW3 and whatnot. And there's bloodshed, a lot of it, guys. Only a what will be here. Only a few will stay here to do so, right? Well, maybe people have a choice because only a few will stay here to do so. Will the other people move on? I'm not sure, guys. Is this some type of other reset he's possibly talking about? Right? And it gets even weirder because the past holds a sequence, a cycle of sorts. So whatever happens in the future happens in the past. So if we're talking about a WW3 occurring, it happened in the past. Not only that, if we're talking about a reset, not the collapse reset, another reset, it happened in the past as well. Let's think about it. You know what's so weird? It's because how have we built the pyramids and at this point in time we can't, right? Were there resets that took place in the ancient past, guys, right? Look at that. The past holds a sequence, a cycle of sorts. Again, very weird if you ask me. I think we just got confirmed right here, guys. I just had a thought. If he means this literally, as pyramids implode into dusty red smoke walls, it will be all but too late to change it, right? The pyramids, what? Flipping on its head, collapsing. What could it mean, right? The simulation ending. What's even crazier is, look at this. Where will you be to witness it all, right? Where would you be to witness it all? So that means we will probably not be in the XRP community at that point in time because this all the stuff happens in 15 years time frame or 20, 30, 40 years time frame, guys, right? And it gets even crazier because remember this tweet from Elon, the Luciferian actor, assassination coordinates. AC. Remember, I've told you that this word, or in this world, when it's on stage, AC always means Antichrist, right? Antichrist, as you guys can see. Again, remember what Mr. Pool did just followed, guys. Elon Musk. Not to mention, he posted this at 1.9, which is what the Phoenix number, right? 91. The Antichrist has what? Risen. That's so weird, isn't it, guys? Right? When we talk about watch the water, not only that, as you guys can see, a cycle of sorts, right? The world will start to finish transitioning soon. Interesting. We're trying to tie it all together, guys. Now, the fountain for today's video comes from who knows, but at the end of all this, what did Mr. Pool post at that time? Don't panic, right? Again, never panic, guys. Look at this. Rule number 1: don't panic. When the world comes to an end, do not panic. Because it's all about, I'm pretty sure it's all about what? Frequency. Because Mr. Pool that one time posted fear equals control, right? Which ties in with your frequency, which is fascinating stuff, guys. What do we believe will take place after the collapse? There you guys go. The timeline seems to be clear. Collapse, peace, WW3, then possibly more chaos, the resets, another reset, right? And then a new world. Who knows? But let's just wait and see. Now, financial advice. What do we say? So, guys, see ya.